Hello friends, and welcome to my third video in my Intro to Magic series. Let's begin with a quick review, and then we'll discuss how to perceive the subtle force. There is a power or substance that is ascribed in many cultures that is associated with the life force or breath. It has the power to shape or change reality. It flows through and collects wherever attention is placed. There are 7 principles that explain how the macrocosm, or world at large, works with and through the microcosm, the individual. There's an alignment with the larger universe within each of us. When an individual understands these principles and uses expanded awareness and concentration to work with the subtle force, they gain the ability to work magic. This is done through the creative power or imagination, commonly called Kundalini. This force connects and shapes all things from the distant stars down to a single thought. Everyone and everything has a condensed field of this force surrounding them, called the sphere of sensation, or aura. This sphere of sensation can be transformed or charged using the imagination and will, turning it into a battery of power that can influence reality. Plants, animals, and locations have their own fields, and one can interact and perceive these energies if they know how, which is what we'll be discussing in this episode. Seeing auras is a great first step into the world of the subtle force. By developing this clairvoyant skill, you can literally see with your eyes open how the astral light surrounds and moves through the universe. The best and easiest way to do this is just properly focusing your eyes. I recommend a similar method to what's described as magic eye pictures. Pictures that were very popular in the 90s, where there is a hidden 3D image that's only revealed by the proper eye focus. You can find these pictures online with a simple search for magic eye pictures. Start with a few easy ones. Practice first seeing the image, and then once you're good at that, try holding the 3D image for as long as you can. Another method is the optical illusion of a floating finger. By taking the pointer fingers of each hand, pointing them at each other with a little gap in between each finger, place both hands in front of the face and move the hands back and forth away from the eyes until in between the fingers, in that space, you'll see a optical illusion of a phantom finger appear. The eye technique is similar to crossing your eyes and using a relaxed peripheral vision type focus. Both of the practices mentioned will get you the proper eye focus to be able to see auras. So once you can easily see magic eye pictures in the floating sausage, that means you can see auras. So the next step is either finding a friend to help or to go out and people watch. An important rule of thumb is to always have a neutral color when first beginning behind the subject that you're looking at. This will help see light manifesting around them a lot easier than if there's a confusing color pattern or complex image behind the subject. So whenever you're ready, have your subject with a neutral color background behind them. Switch to your special focus and look through or past the subject to the wall behind them. By using this relaxed, past the target gaze, gently observe around the head and shoulders. Don't look at the head and shoulders, but around, through, and beyond them, making the subject almost peripheral to focus. When done right, you will begin to see a white mist-like light surrounding the subject. From there, it's as easy as repeating the practice until proficiency develops. The more regularly you practice, the more you'll start to see colors being revealed, shining through the white mist. Whenever you get a chance and see someone in a particular mood or displaying an emotional response, that is a perfect time to look at their auras and observe what you find. You should record your results for later study and insight. The next sense that we'll be working with is hearing. In order to perceive sound psychically, it requires a moderate skill at expansive awareness. You begin in a relaxed theta state meditation, open and aware of your surroundings. Select a word or sound that can be easily reproduced, like a mantra or the sound of a bell or a drum. Once relaxed and ready, repeat the sound several times out loud until you are familiar with the qualities of the sound and the subtle vibrations that occur. Now, go back into your relaxed, open state. Sit and wait expectantly for the sound. It may seem strange at first, but know that the sound is coming and just search for it. The imagination will produce the sound. It will be subtle, but you should experience something akin to a mental echo with a slight vibration in your ears accompanying it. Keep at it and the skill will develop. You can do the same practice for the psychic senses of smell and taste. Just choose a particular smell or flavor. Taste it until you smell it until you pick up the qualities that are inherent in that smell or taste. Go into meditation and expect or allow that echo to occur to you during meditation. The next sense we'll focus on is the psychic tactile sense. Because all things have the subtle force as an underlying astral structure, you can develop the ability to tactily experience that subtle form. Simply rub your hands together till an amount of heat and friction have developed, giving you a staticky feeling in the hands. This should be done with some deep breaths into the diaphragm. Once the hands are warm and the static feeling, blood pumping, focus on your hands and begin to slowly take one hand, whichever you choose, and pass it down and around the hand and arm of the other arm. Move it slowly around it, and you'll begin to feel a slight magnetic pulling or pulsing. Switch hands and feel the energy on the other arm. Finally, repeat the hand rubbing, and when ready, place the palms of your hands about 6 inches or so apart. Imagine there is a ball between your hands that you're squeezing, contracting, and relaxing, releasing, easing up. Do this several times, contracting and releasing. Experiment with the distance it takes until you can feel the tingling magnetic push or pull between your hands. There is a great free PDF by Robert Bruce called New Energy Ways, and it has some really great techniques to build up your skill at sensing energy. I highly recommend it. Some other skills that can help develop the astral senses are the Wim Hof breathing technique, where you go into almost a hyperventilation, then stretch the muscle while breathing into the limb, and you'll begin to feel the blood coursing through that limb, along with the tingly, energetic feel moving through that limb. Qigong is a practice that we'll go into a little bit later in another video, but it is fantastic for developing the energetic sense and moving energy. Of course, yoga is a popular technique, method of working with the subtle force. Ritual dancing, shaking or seething, where one moves the body in a free-form dance sort of manner, whichever way the energy feels that it needs to go, one follows along with the energy. It's a great way to begin to develop the sense and feel for that energy. The next practice that I would like to discuss is a way to tie all these different techniques together. It's been practiced for as long as human history and magic have been done. It's called darkroom magic, or at least that's what I call it. Once you have a little experience with seeing, hearing, and feeling the subtle astral light force, you are ready to bring it all together. You'll need a room where there is little to no light. If you can barely make out what is a foot or so in front of your eyes, this is the perfect amount of light. Begin to do your usual expansive meditation, eyes closed, relaxed, spine straight, breathing into the diaphragm. Begin to focus on the sensations in your body, specifically the heartbeat and breath. Try to experience both of these sensations as energy moving through and around you. When you've become aware of this energy, take several deep breaths and pretend or just know that with each breath you are drawing in more of the subtle life force. When you can feel and see this energy build up in and around you, the field of awareness will lighten. Once this is achieved, start rubbing your hands together as you did before, building up the friction, the energy, and the focus into your hands. Imagine all that energy, that subtle light, filling your hands with energy. You can feel this strongly. Open your eyes and begin to move your palms back and forth like you did when you were squeezing the ball. And look between your hands like you did whenever you were focusing on auras. You should now be able to see and feel the subtle force between your hands. Try hearing the force. Ask yourself, what does it sound like? And await a response. Of course, you can do the same thing for smell and taste. Just be patient and expect an answer to arise on its own. Once you're satisfied and have experimented with moving your focus around and building up the energy between your hands or releasing it, take all that energy and then throw your hands out, away like tossing an object. Place your awareness out past your hands and into the room. Observe what the subtle force does then. Watch it. See how long it takes to disperse, or what it changes into, or shapes into. Mostly I want you to play and explore. Develop a study of the subtle force during your time in the darkroom magic. See how intention, emotion, and concentration affect this force. Really learn it. Study it like it's some new, undiscovered species. Robert Ping, in his great book, The Master Key, describes this experience doing this darkroom practice for quite some time, as well as going over many useful energy work practices that I highly recommend. Once you've developed your skills in the dark room, seeing auras, feeling the energy, you need to bring your perception skills out into the environment. Go to various locations such as woodland areas, parks, beaches, caves, cities, religious institutions, historical locations, hospitals, shopping centers. Explore how the subtle force varies from place to place. Explore how the times of day, such as dawn, noon, dusk, and midnight, have different energetic experiences associated with them. Later, when you have developed your skills further, you'll connect to astrological asterisms. I want to thank you for taking the time and watching these videos. I really do hope this material aids you on your path. Remember, this is your path alone. I can only help as a guide, but your persistence and steady, regular practice will be what gets you anywhere. There's no need to rush. When you falter or fail, review the material, question your understanding, or meditate on a solution. Be creative and bring your unique experience to the situation. Make this your lifelong hobby, a passion, and you will progress and grow. Again, thank you for your attention and time. In the next video, we'll learn how to further develop the sphere sensation and begin to move and master the subtle force to begin to work magic. So until then, this is Justin B. Good magic to you.